Good evening and happy Friday. This is Shana from the Trade Exchange, and I want to talk about some stocks this week. Some that had some pretty big moves to the upside, and some with some disappointing moves to the downside. Well, one that was in the news today, take a look at the stock chart of CVS. So CVS is down nearly 5% today. If I showed you Walgreens stock chart, you'd see it very, very similar. Well, this is on the news that Amazon may be entering the prescription drug industry. They think they have a lot they could bring to the table. They think they could bring transparency to prescription drugs, possibly lower the cost of prescription drugs. So it's great for the consumers, but not so great for companies such as CVS and Walgreens. And we know the impact that Amazon has when it enters industries. When it acquired Whole Foods, it took billions of dollars worth of value out of grocery chains. So this news is expected. They're expected to make their decision by Thanksgiving. Well, if you took a look at Amazon's stock price, not any notable moves in it, but they're having a great year, and they're actually up 30% for the year. Another stock worth looking at, take a look at Mylan. So Mylan's up 20% this week. This is a pharmaceutical company. And this is because they got approval on their generic drug. It's called Glatiramer Acetate Injection, 40 milligrams per milliliter. It's a 3-time-a-week injection, and it's to rival their competitor Teva's Copaxone for multiple sclerosis. Well, on this news that it's approved, they can start shipping it out immediately, which they intend to do. And not only that, but they may receive a 180-day exclusivity deal on this generic drug. So this could be very, very big news for Mylan, on top of this positive news you already seen their stock price being up about 20% this week. But if you take a look at Teva, the rival, and the impact that it had, not so great. So Teva's down 14% on this news, and it hasn't yet recovered. And this isn't helping because Teva's had a pretty rough year. They're actually down 55% this year. Let's take a look at another pharmaceutical company that also had a really great week, and that is MannKind. So MannKind is up 120% this week. And this is because their diabetic drug, Afrezza, got FDA label changes that are going to help the doctors and the prescribers sell the drug to the consumer, the patients. And this is all because this label change is going to give specific instructions on how to best use the drug for the best results. So not only is it going to help them with sales in the short term, but it's also going to help them in raising capital. So this is really great news for MannKind. Again, they're up 120% this week on this diabetic drug FDA label change. But one company that had a pretty rough week and some bad publicity out there this week was Shopify. Shopify is down 17% this week. So take a look at this. This is following a report out by Citron, which is a very well-known short-selling firm. And they put out a video with Andrew Left in the video, and he is arguing that this e-commerce platform is fraudulently promoting a get-rich-quick type scheme, and he even compared them to Herbalife. So the stock price fell, and he said he indeed is short this. He put their price target at $60. Well, not only that, but he even kept bringing up the FTC and saying that, they could face legal repercussions. And he intends, he says, to send all of his research, he says hundreds of pages, to the FTC. And if they do, of course, make this a legal matter, he said that price target could be even lower. So we see what's happened with the stock price here. Now, of course, it remains to be seen. It's the decision of regulators if Shopify has indeed or is intentionally or unintentionally fraudulently promoting the e-commerce site. But again, that is up to the decision of the regulators. But in the meantime, their stock price is down 17% based on this not so good publicity. Taking a look at oil. So oil is having its first week of decline in nearly a month, and it's down 4.6% this week. So the Baker Hughes numbers were pretty great today. The U.S. total rig count came at 936, so it's -4. The U.S. oil rig count came in at 748, so it's down 2. Well, you see that nice little boost it had on Thursday, that helped a bit, and that was because Russian President Vladimir Putin and Saudi Arabian King Salman had a meeting, and Russia may agree to extend production cuts. So on that positive news, we saw it go up a bit, but it wasn't enough because as Tropical Storm Nate is moving into the Gulf of Mexico, it's had an impact as oil companies and natural gas companies have had to shut their doors in anticipation of the storm. So with that, we do see that oil is down this week, again closing down 4.6%. One more thing is investors are still keeping an eye on that independence referendum with the Kurdish region, in Iraq, and seeing the impact that could have. Because again, if that does have an impact, that could take out about 500,000 barrels per day. So they are still watching that referendum to see the results on that and what's going to happen. and taking a look at our indices. So we're closing out this week at all-time highs. The Dow closing out 22,773. It's up 1 spot 6% this week. The S&P is closing out 2549. They're up 1 spot 2% this week. And the Nasdaq closing out 6590. They're up 1 spot 5% this week. We did see a bit of a downtick today on the news that North Korea may indeed be testing missiles to hit the West Coast, the United States West Coast. But again, it rebounded, and we're closing out at all-time highs. Now you see the VIX closing out at 9.65, so it's actually closing again down below 10. Oh, and last but not least, gold. Gold closed down 0.31% down, closing out 12.78. On a final and a somber note, on behalf of the entire Trade Exchange team, we just want to extend our heartfelt sympathies and our thoughts to all of those that were affected by the tragedy in Las Vegas this week, because you have been on all of our thoughts. To everybody else, we do hope you have an enjoyable weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Thank you so much. Bye.